the preview, sorry, of the Euro final, and now we're back for the review. We needed the day off yesterday just to, get it all together, to think, what went so wrong and what did go wrong. Let's start off early. England bottled it. Let's be honest. But there's penalties. Anything can happen at penalties, but Italy seem to be very good at penalties. So, I mean, the game. Let's have a look. Let's start off from the start of the game. The game was a proper traditional cagey final. Wasn't many opportunities. Quite a lot of sideways football. You could tell it was a final. I mean, Italy's goal. Wow, that was awful. I mean, the luck of that. I mean, it's a good save from the goalie Pickford to tip it onto the post, but they managed to scramble it in. And when they scored that, that's when it all went a little bit. We lost a little bit of control of the game by then. I was hoping prior to that it would just be 1-0. But I don't remember who was watching it last time. The stream last time, but I said it would be amazing if we got an early goal, and we did. We scored in 2 minutes again. Luke Shaw, what a goal that was, and it worked against us in a way. That's the problem. If you get an early goal, it's alright, but you have to build on those early goals. You have to still control the game. But the early goal that went to us, we just sat on our laurels, and Italy started to control the game from there. And then they got back into it, and it looked like, to be fair, after that goal, it looked as if it was always destined for penalties. And we thought, I mean, any team, an amateur team, a pub side, could beat Real Madrid at penalties. It's just a kick from 12 yards out in a goal. You don't have to be a professional footballer, or you don't even have to be a good footballer to score a penalty. It's just all mind games. And Italy, they done us, didn't they? They done us with how the penalties. With all due respect, I mean the score was 3-2 on penalties, so both teams missed. A decent. We missed 60% of our penalties. They missed 40% of their penalties. So it wasn't a high quality penalty shootout. But who cares for Italy? Who cares? There was at one point England had the edge. And then we missed the penalty, and then they scored again. But at never any point when we were playing the penalties did you think we were going to win. We're just cursed at penalties. And I said this. I mean, I said my prediction would be 2-1 England extra time, and that's what should have happened. But maybe we were tired. But extra time, there wasn't really any. There wasn't much action at all, really. Both teams were just waiting for penalties. And Italy, fair play to them. I mean, I think we agreed last time that they were the best two teams in the Euros, of course. But Italy, I'll be honest with you, obviously deserved to win it because they won it on penalties. It's a part of the game that England will, for whatever reason, will never master. It's penalties. It's a part of your game where you have to be good at it. Because, in knockout football, a lot of the time it goes to penalties. But how do you get good at penalties? It's nothing to do with skill. I mean, these players who missed our penalties, it was Jadon Sancho, who just went to Man United for over 75 million. Marcus Rashford, one of the best young players in the world, one of the top strikers in the Premier League. And then Bukayo Saka, who's one of the best young players in the Premier League. It's nothing to do with their talent. It's just that they're English, and it's a mindset. And it's not their fault. It's not their fault at all. It's never the penalty taker's miss's fault. Obviously, it's a team game. We play together, we lose together. They didn't obviously mean to miss. Rashford hit the post. So, I mean, I can't. Did Rashford even play all tournament? I swear that's the only shot that he had all tournament. Maybe someone tell me if he did. But yeah, he came on to miss a penalty. But, one of the best penalty takers in the world on the opposite side is that Jorginho for Chelsea. He missed, you know. So it's not the players that missed for us. It's not the players that missed. It's not even the Southgate's fault because Southgate were the ones that picked them. But I did sort of expect for more senior players to take the penalties. I expected Jordan Henderson to take a penalty. He's a Liverpool club captain. You know, he should be used to this sort of pressure. Kyle Walker is a bit more older, but the opposite, the contrarians to that, and I can see why, because sometimes in penalty shootouts go with the young ones, you know, because then they're pretty fearless. On another day, Bukayo Saka will blast it in the top corner. So I don't blame the penalty takers. I mean, I knew before the penalties happened, they've got that goalkeeper that's, for whatever reason, he's one of the best. He's got one of the best statistics in the world as a goalkeeper for saving penalties. Like that's how he's very well known. He's a very good penalty saver. And with all due respect, how I view football, when you go to take a penalty, the goalkeeper should really have no chance. Really, it's up to the attacking player to put the ball in the goal. I mean, the goalkeeper obviously is going to try his best or her to save the ball, but you know, it's up to the penalty taker to just put it right in the corner and with enough power so the goalkeeper doesn't even have a chance. But we did give him a chance and he done very well. I've just read that Donnarumma got player of the tournament. Um, well, not a surprise because he was excellent throughout the tournament and his expertise with penalties helped Italy win the tournament. So that's not a surprise at all. So he must also be getting young player as well as player of the tournament. I mean, I had to go to an Italy player if you think about it, the player of the tournament. I thought Jorginho was an excellent player. I thought after England scored, I think the Italian midfield was much better than our midfield. I think they controlled the game, they dictated the play a lot better than us. Because we just let it get to our head. We got a goal in the second minute. Oh yeah, we just hold on and park the bus and do Italian style. But no, the Italians came back, they got their goal, and you could tell they were very patient. I think they wanted penalties, and you can sort of see why they wanted penalties, because if we had to play Italy again at penalties, they're probably going to win again. They beat us probably 8 out of 10 times at penalties. But that was the chance. That was a chance for England to get rid of this curse of penalties. This curse of penalties. But it's ongoing. Obviously, there's talks of the manager, Gareth Southgate. I think he's contracted for the Qatar World Cup. Obviously, he has to keep the job, of course. I mean, obviously, there's nobody else out there that could have it anyway. But I mean, it's not the best football in the world, all right. But if you're going to get the semi-final, then the final, it's a major step up for English football. England are going places, and next year at the World Cup, we've got players that are only going to get even better. I mean, Phil Foden played at the start. He's going to have another great season. You can see it at Man City. I think Bukayo Saka, I think he needs to, just take a bit of time off. Don't forget about it. And I think he's going to come back as, one of the best players in the league. Because I always remember that time. I mean, it's a bit different because he's not English, but when Cristiano Ronaldo in the 2006 World Cup, do you remember that time where he got Rooney sent off, where Rooney stamped on someone? I think it might have been Ronaldo. I can't remember who it was. And Ronaldo winked at him and got him sent off. And I remember when Ronaldo came back to England that time, every single team hated him. Every single team gave him a lot of abuse. And, the rest is history after what he done from there. That was really when Ronaldo started to be... Because prior to that, he was always very talented anyway, but he used to mess about a lot with the ball, He was never good in the final third, Ronaldo. But this sort of experience helped Ronaldo become a great player. And I think it might be the same for Saka. I keep saying Saka. It's Saka, sorry. I mean, I don't think anyone with any half a brain doesn't blame Saka for missing a penalty. You know, it's just part and parcel of the job, isn't it? And he had to be the last one, and he missed it. So what? You know. But I think he needs to keep his head up. But I think this could be. I think in the long run, I think this is going to be good for him. I think he's going to come back stronger. I think he's going to come back hungrier, and he's going to come back to prove his worth. And he's obviously very, very talented. He's only very young. So Saka, I think, don't worry about it too much, you know. England did amazing to get to the final. And his penalties, you know. Saka's not exactly unique, is he? Or Rashford or Sancho in missing penalties. You know, the manager, Southgate, he's used to it. Stuart Pearce, we're all used to it. There's a lot of players used to it, so it's not exactly unique. Anyone that gives them abuse is obviously a moron. So don't even give them a time of day, you know. They missed a penalty, so what? That's part and parcel of football, you know. So the curse strikes again at penalties. Anytime it goes to, I mean, when was the last time we won at penalties? I remember we beat Colombia in the World Cup, didn't we, at penalties? And that felt absolutely out. It didn't even feel real when we beat them at penalties. But obviously, other England fans will also agree with me. We just don't want penalties. We need to get it done within 120 minutes. But you know, that extra time that we had against Italy, that 30 minutes, not much happened there at all, did it really? It was quite a poor game, if I'm going to be honest with you. It was quite a poor game. Low energy, sideways. There was not many chances created. I think the early goal wasn't good for us because we thought, oh, we've got a goal. We're just going to sit on it. It's only a matter of time until Italy got some terrible goal. And you know what? It doesn't matter if it's a 45-yard volley or a 2-yard scramble in. They all count the same. They don't care. And we all would have had the same elation, whatever type of goal it is. So I don't know. I think overall, what would I give England out of 10 as a performance? I'd give them, for the whole tournament, I'd give them an 8 out of 10. And I'd give Italy a 9 out of 10. I mean, Italy won it, but this is not. Who won the last Euros? Portugal. Alright, they were probably better than Portugal last Euros. But when Spain, you know, they're not. This was not a great Italian side, contrary to what people say. This is not top quality football. This is not like when Spain won this in 2012 or when Spain won it in 2008, or even when France won it in the year 2000. This is not. This Italian side is a great tournament team. They know how to manage exceptionally well, manage a game, they know how to control a game in the middle of the park. And they're obviously very good defensively, as they've always been. And they've got that goalkeeper, you know. They've always had a great goalkeeper in Gigi Buffon. And they've got this new goalkeeper, Donnarumma, that's came in and replaced him. And it's been, you know, his first tournament where he plays. He's got player of the tournament. He's only 22. And the guy's out of contract as well. So who's going to sign him? Who's going to get Donnarumma? He's probably going to stay in Italy. I can see him going to Juventus. But he obviously was an excellent player, the goalkeeper. But I mean, even the veterans at the back, Chiellini and Bonucci, them two played very well. They played really well. But the midfield of Verratti, Jorginho, and was it Barolo? Them three in the middle. I think they controlled the game. The English team were, as I say, they didn't really create much. After we scored, there was nothing going forward. It was just sideways, backwards, or even just appeasing the Italians. We really needed the second goal. That was such a vital thing to get, I think, looking back in hindsight. But, you know, anyone could look back in hindsight and go, oh, this. But I think England should be proud of themselves. Gareth Southgate has done really well. Anyone that thinks that he shouldn't have the job for the Qatar World Cup doesn't need to be spoken to. They're a moron. Unless there's no, who else is going to have the job except him? There's no one else who's who's doing amazing, especially who's English, who's doing it really well, you go, oh, let's give him the job. No, Gareth Southgate must keep this job. He's done really well. It looks like the players are playing for him, and he's going to have a better bunch of players next time. He's going to have a better Foden. He's going to have a better Saka. He's going to have a better Sancho, because Sancho is going to be at Man United. He's going to have Rashford, and these are all going to be banging on the door. Because you remember in the Euros, sorry, not the Euros, the World Cup, Dele Alli was like the second pick in our side, in the English team. It was always Kane would play first name on the on the team sheet, and then second name on the team sheet would, I mean, maybe not second, but like up there at the top would have been Dele Alli, because he was really good for England. And now look at him now. Look at him now. He's nowhere near the team. So you don't know who's going to come through in the next, who's going to do well, who's going to sit off. Um, I was impressed with Declan Rice as well. You know, I think he had a good tournament. I think he does all the simple things well. I think he'll get a good move. I can see him going to Chelsea, to be fair. I thought he was really good. I liked him and the Phillips in the middle. I think them two are good players. They're good, tidy players that mop up well. It's just that we didn't have the ambition needed in the final to attack. We didn't have the ascendancy. We didn't play a good enough numbers game. We didn't create enough chances, did we? Really, except for the Luke Shaw goal. Can you think of any clear-cut chances where England had a chance? I can't think of anything really. After the goal, and you know, at the end of the day, you can't score goals if you don't get chances. And I hate to sound so blunt, but football's about putting the ball in the goal, isn't it? So if we can't put the ball in the goal, we're going to struggle. And if the strategy of the game is get one goal and then defend, I don't think we're never going to be able to do this. Like, an English team is never going to be able to go 1-0 up and park the bus. It's just not possible. We haven't got those defensive capabilities like the Italians do. We have to always be on the attack. Attack is the best form of defense for us. It's always going to be that. And you know, if we would have got the second goal, I think that game would have been over. But as the longer and longer and longer it stayed at 1-0, Italy were always in it, and then Italy got that terrible goal, and they just managed the game from there on amazingly well. And then when it came to penalties, they won. But I mean, they weren't great at penalties. They missed 2 and we missed 3. But yeah, that was not a masterclass. If kids were watching that penalty shootout, that was not a masterclass penalty shootout. But they don't care. But what can you do? I think we need to take a bit of solace from it. I think we need to take a lot of positives from it. Football's not coming home. It's went to Rome. And let's be honest, if England couldn't win it, I'm sort of glad Italy won it. I don't really like it, you know, that year when Greece won it. I don't really like it when teams like that win major tournaments. No offence to Greece. I always like the best team to win it, because it's just better for the game, you know. You don't want teams parking the bus and winning 1-0 every game and then getting to the final winning one. No, we don't want Sam Allardyce style football. We want Spain to batter Italy 4-0 in the final in 2012, and that Italian side was better than this Italian side, and that Spanish side. Wow, I think that's the best international team I think I've ever seen in my life. That Spanish side from 2008 to 2012. But Spain were good. I mean, Spain were not bad under the circumstances. They've got some good players. That Pedri for Barcelona is an excellent player. I think they're going to come back to the next tournament maybe with a few new players. So that's the problem for England. You know, when you get to the final, you've done all right. We were lucky this time. You know, who did we play? Let's be honest. Alright, we're back on. We're back on. We played Germany as the only. Alright, let's put it in regards to pedigree. The only teams that we played that have won a major tournament. Alright, we did play Denmark. But I would say is Italy in the final. It doesn't matter. You're going to play a major side in the final anyway. And then we played Germany. Denmark, alright, yeah, alright. They won the Euros in, was it 92? I think they won it when Yugoslavia had to drop out and they came in. They beat Germany. But I wouldn't say Denmark are a premium Titan side, you know, like Germany or Italy. So we've only really played Germany, let's be honest. And we made mincemeat out of Germany, did we though? If Muller would have got that goal, might have been a different tie. But who cares? We beat them. So, I mean, we played Ukraine. Ukraine are not a very good side, really. Let's be honest. But I think all as what England could do is beat who's in front of them, right? To get to, if you would have said to me before the tournament, if you would have said to me before the tournament, we'd have got final, I'd have laughed at you. So what are we saying here? I think England did well. World Cup next. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're lucky as well because this tournament should have been last year. So the World Cup is only in what? A year and 5 months. So we've got 17 months away until the World Cup. And I mean, I don't want to sound like an idiot, but I mean, I would rather win the World Cup than the Euros because it's not quite the same, you know? Even though it's amazing to win the Euros, but I would rather win the World Cup all day, every day than the Euros. And I think England. But then again, the problem is with the World Cup, the French are going to be out there, and you know the French are going to be back in business. They're going to be. I mean, what did they do? Going out in last 16. So they're not going to be very happy, and they're only getting better. I think the French are better than us. I think their team is better than England. I think their team is better than Italy. I think the French have got the best team in the world, and anyone that doesn't think that, fair enough. Maybe not the best team in the world, because I'm not that much sure about Argentina and Brazil, but definitely the best team in Europe. But you got to do it all again when you go back to the World Cup. I mean, we got lucky this time with a draw. Maybe we don't get lucky next time, because you got to beat some decent sides to get there, you know. I mean, we didn't really have to beat anyone. But next time we'll probably have to beat them all. Who did Italy have to beat? They had to beat Belgium. They had to beat Spain. They had to beat England. You know, they had to beat. I mean, they only just got through against Austria. But yeah, Italy deserved it. Italy deserved it all day, every day. Well done to Italy. Fair play to the Italians. They won the Eurovision and the Euros in the same year. The Italians are doing something right, at least. I wonder what Italy must have been like on that Sunday night. But yeah, I mean, they deserved it. Well done, Italy. But I think we all won. Obviously, Italy won. But I think all of us football fans won from this tournament because it's the first time I think in a sports tournament where we got to watch all the fans and that level of intensity was like it was before the pandemic, you know. It was exciting. There was banter again, and you could go down to the bars and watch it, down to the pubs, have a drink. It was fun. Whereas, you know, before it was always you're not allowed to go out. There's no fans in the stadium. This was the first, you know, festival in a way of the greatest sport in the world, which is football, since the start of COVID. And I think we all needed it. It's just been so much fun. Having a drink, just watching the games, it's going down to the pub, speaking to everyone else. It's been great fun. And hopefully, I mean, the World Cup's going to be a weird one because it's going to be at Christmas time in Qatar. I don't particularly. I still think personally that this World Cup isn't going to be in Qatar. I think at the end they're just going to go, oh, by the way, we'll just put it in England or Germany or something like that, you know. I still think that because it's still mental how it's in Qatar. I mean, if there's any Qatar fans out there, no offence, but I mean, it's all AC stadiums, and the tourists over there are not allowed to wear shorts. And I mean, I've been off the aeroplane in Qatar. It's like walking into an oven. It's just there's hot, and then there's Arab humid hot. That's like next level. So I just don't think it's practical to be there. So hopefully, we'll get it in England at the end. Uh, but we had it in England. We had this Euros. This Euros was basically in England. Let's be honest. The semis were in England, and the final was in England, and we still fluffed our lines. I mean, what more do you want, lads? What more do you want? We played every single game at Wembley except the one in Rome against Ukraine, and we still fluffed our lines. But it's an improvement, you know. It's a process. Who's this? What's he saying? It's all about the money. Yeah, especially with England, it's all about the money. What do you mean by that, Fred? MFF? What do you mean it's all about the money? What, football or... Qatar, yeah, of course. Yes, but I think though, I mean, I don't want to sound disrespectful to the World Cups prior to Qatar, but the ones before them was Russia, Brazil, South Africa. Them three were all corrupt. And I think people sort of knew. And then the fourth one, when it was Qatar, they went, alright, this is corrupt. And the American government, even the American government had to get involved and sue FIFA. That's the level that the American government were like, alright guys, you've had your fun. Like, this is just so obviously corrupt. I mean, but then again, what's happened? What's happened? I imagine the people that took all the bribes have still got all their money and just got expelled from FIFA. They still got all their money. They don't care. It's going to Qatar. So the bribe worked. But, I mean, I don't really care about all that. I mean, where the football's got so much money, there's always going to be that level of corruption. All what I can worry about is England. How are England going to do? You know? So, Qatar, yeah, it's going to be corrupt. I don't know how they're going to do it in Qatar. Especially with the tourists, you know? When you see in a major, especially in places like South Africa or Brazil, South Africa or Brazil, it's a festival. It's a party festival. So, and you know, everyone's drunk. Everyone's having a good time. How's this going to happen in Qatar? I mean, what else are you saying, Fred? Many people have died building the stadiums in Qatar. Almost 7,000. Yeah, I mean. I don't know, I mean, maybe they must be built by now, but yes, you're right. I mean, it's not just about the stadiums in Qatar, that's all of that world, isn't it? You know, all of those skyscrapers, it's always the poorest people in the world that build them, unfortunately, and they don't care. Obviously, there's a lot of scandals about what's going on, in regards to them taking their passports and making them work. But you know, what can I do? What can we do about it? Nothing. You know, we're not even bothering with sanctions on Qatar. We don't care. So, you know, what can we do about it? Nothing. All what we can do is focus on the football. As I say, exactly, I agree with you. Most people die in Qatar. Qatar's human rights are terrible. So, bring it England. We'll bring it England. Safe option. England can host it. No one wants to go to Qatar. Who wants to go to Qatar? No one. No one wants to go there. I mean, let's be honest. What women would even want to go? What females would want to go? Oh, all right, yeah, all right, darling, yeah. We'll go on holiday to Qatar. No. No, who wants to go there? No one. You don't want to go to Qatar to watch the World Cup? Yeah, well, I mean, that's the only reason I'd rather shoot myself. I mean, that's the only reason you will be going to Qatar. I mean, to be fair, I would go to Qatar. Because, you know, it's probably a really nice place. Like, you know, with all the skyscrapers and that. But not for long, you know. I mean, why would we go there? For what? No one wants to go there to play football. Like, no. I mean, there's not going to be fan parks. There's not going to be any banter. I mean, where? Oh yeah. Well, I'll meet you at the local pub in Qatar. What local pub? You know? I mean, imagine. I mean, I don't know if anyone saw some of the pictures from Wembley on Sunday. I mean, to be fair, it didn't surprise me. Just a load of England fans were all battered outside Wembley, and the stewards were like overwhelmed, and they were just kept coming through without any tickets, and loads of them were just running through the stadium. So there must have been so many illegal people in the stadium without any tickets, because they must have known it's 90,000 seat stadium, Wembley, but they only sold tickets for 60. So if you just get in, there's going to be a seat for you there. And the stewards were just totally overwhelmed. I mean, I don't know how Qatar's going to do it. I just don't know. They're just going to have to do an amnesty, aren't they? Because they're so uptight about everything anyway. No, you can't have a drink. No, you can't wear shorts. No, you can't. I'm just like, just chill out, mate, you know? So they're just going to have to do for a month, do what you want, and then a month later, it's just going to revert back to normal. That's the only way that they'll practically be able to do it. But I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think Qatar's going to be good? Do you think Qatar is going to be... I mean, it's like, if we win it, I don't care. If we win it, I'll play the Antarctica World Cup. I don't care. You know? But just for the fans' experience, don't pick Qatar. I would have picked... I mean, even though, as you guys already know, I'm English, I think I would have picked England. Because it's not been in England since '66, and with all due respect, like, England is such an amazing place to have a football tournament, because it's going to be fun. The only bad thing you got about England is possibly the weather. That's it. Other than that, the people are all going to be enjoying the football. Everyone's going to have fun. There's plenty of pubs, plenty of places to stay. You don't have to stay in London, you know. England's bigger than London. And there's plenty of world-class stadiums. It would have just been... It would be way better in England than or even UK, than this Qatar World Cup. I would have given it to England in 2022. I think the next one, 2026, is in America, Mexico, and Canada, which sounds about right. I mean, I don't think there's been one. However, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if we're counting them as the same, but we just had Brazil in 2014. One country I'm very surprised about that's not had the World Cup is China. I'm just waiting for China to bid for the World Cup, and they'll get it. Because they've never had it, and they're a bunch of wallies with cash on the hip. So, and they're football crazy, aren't they? You know, when you think of the World Cup and you've got these major countries like China, that they love football, but they never qualify to get there. You know, they're missing out. They're missing out. They're missing out. FIFA from a business perspective. You know, if China aren't there, there's 1 point something billion people that are not as interested as they would have been if China were there. So yeah, I can see China getting it soon, later. What's it saying now? No CCP football. Well, it's just China, isn't it? I mean, you don't have to connect the government to the international football team. Come on, stop being ridiculous. I mean, they're not very good. No offence to China. But, I mean, you already know that. You know, when was the last time they went to the World Cup? It was the Japan one they were there. I mean, it can't be that difficult to get to the World Cup. I mean, Japan get there every year. Japan are the best in Asia, aren't they, by a long way? And they're not very good either. No, I mean, no offence to any Japanese viewers, but you know, but Asians don't really play football, do they? With all due respect, they're not really, especially the Chinese. You know, they don't really play. But they love it. They love watching it. They love the Premier League. They do love their football. But yeah, I mean, the World Cup is something special. I am looking forward to the World Cup, but we'll just have to get over this of the Euros, and it does hurt because we got to the last hurdle. You know, I always think of things. We were the first loser. I mean, we may have got the final. Well done, we got the final, but we didn't win. We wasted our time. It's all a waste of time. You know, what's the point of getting the final? We may as well go out in the group stages. But you know, we've always got next time. We can build on it. We've got young players. I mean, what do you guys think? How do you think England are going to do next time? I think we're going to be top 3 favourites. I think our players are going to get better. And obviously there's other teams out there that are obviously going to get better as well. But yeah, I think it's a positive. I think the 2020s for England are going to be a positive period of football, and we might not win the World Cup in 2022, but I think we're going to win one tournament before 2030. You know, clip this however you want, meme me, but we are going to win one tournament before 2030, and when we do, replay this back. Well, anyway, so after the Euros, what we're going to do, the James Rich Show, is really just going to be all about football. All about football news, football transfers, which big players are going to go where, and who do we think is going to go where? Who should teams sign? What should teams do? So you know, after the Euros, keep on watching us for the football news and football reviews. I mean, it won't be long until the Premier League will be back. Really, let's be honest. It normally, I don't know what it's starting this year, but it normally starts in August. And then we've got the Champions League. We'll all be back for all of that. We'll all give our sterling analysis. So thanks for watching, and have a nice evening, guys and girls. Bye bye.